The morning was warm, bright, and peaceful when the trouble began. The family had only 2 weeks left before the big day, the wedding of their only daughter, Lily. Everyone in the house was excited. The mother, Anna, was standing in the backyard checking the decorations with a happy smile on her face. The father, David, was measuring the space for the lights. Lily was inside, looking at her dress for the 100th time, dreaming about the moment she would walk down the aisle. Everything felt perfect. Everything felt calm. Everything felt hopeful. But this peaceful morning was about to change. At around 10 a.m., a loud knock came at the front door, sharp, angry, and impatient. It did not sound like a normal knock. It sounded like someone banging with purpose. David walked to the door, thinking it might be a delivery. But when he opened it, he saw Karen, the strict and dramatic woman who controlled the HOA like she owned the entire world. She stood there in her perfect beige pants and tight ponytail, holding a bright pink violation slip in her hand like it was a weapon. Her face was stiff. Her eyes were cold. Her lips pressed together like she already hated the family before speaking. "Good morning, Karen," David said, trying to stay polite. But Karen didn't even pretend to smile. Instead, she pushed the violation slip toward him and said in a sharp voice, "You are breaking multiple HOA rules. This must stop immediately." David was confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. "We're just setting up for the wedding." Karen crossed her arms. "The wedding is a violation," she said. "These decorations are a violation. The lights are a violation. The noise from your testing speakers yesterday was a violation. And the extra cars parked outside are also a violation." David blinked. He knew Karen loved rules, but this was ridiculous. "We tested the speakers for only 10 minutes, he explained. "And the cars were from the decorators." Karen lifted her chin as if she was the queen of the neighborhood. "It doesn't matter. This community must stay peaceful. We have standards. Weddings should not be held here. They bring noise, traffic, and chaos. I can't allow that." Anna heard voices and walked to the door. "Karen, please. It's our daughter's wedding. We planned everything months ago." Karen narrowed her eyes. "I don't care. This wedding will disturb the entire neighborhood. If you don't cancel it, I will personally make sure the HOA shuts it down." Lily, who had been upstairs, heard the loud talking and came down. She stood behind her parents, nervous and surprised. "It's my wedding," she said softly. "We just want one special day." Karen turned her head slowly toward Lily and spoke with a fake smile. "Well, dear, you should have chosen a proper venue. Not here. Not in my community." The way she said "my community" made the whole family freeze. This wasn't just about rules. This wasn't about peace. This was about control. Karen wanted power, and the wedding was something she couldn't control, so she wanted to destroy it. She handed the violation paper to David and continued in a harsh tone. "You have 48 hours to remove all decorations. If you don't, the HOA will fine you, and I will take further action." Then she added one final line, a line that changed everything. "Cancel the wedding, or I will make sure this community turns against you." And without waiting for an answer, she turned around and walked away like a villain in a movie, shoulders stiff, steps angry, heels hitting the ground like tiny explosions. The family stood at the door, silent, Lily's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "Why does she hate us so much? It's my wedding day. I just want to get married." Anna put her arms around her daughter. "She doesn't hate you. She just wants control." David crushed the violation paper in his hand, his jaw tight with anger. "I knew she was strict, but this is too much." It didn't take long for the situation to get worse. Within 1 hour, Karen started walking around their backyard like a detective searching for crime. She took photos of the decorations, the lights, the chairs, even the flowers. She walked around the house writing things down in her notebook, like she was planning a full investigation. Neighbors peeked from their windows, confused and embarrassed. Everyone knew Karen caused trouble, but this time she was going too far. Later that evening, the family received 3 more violation emails. Karen complained about the height of the wedding arch, the color of the lights, the number of chairs, the cars in the driveway, and even the family dog barking. Each email sounded more dramatic than the last, like she was trying to build a case to destroy the wedding completely. Lily sat on the couch, crying softly. She felt her dream slipping away. She felt helpless. But then David walked into the room and said something that would shape the rest of the story. He sat beside her, took her hand, and said, "Listen to me. No one, absolutely no one, will ruin your wedding. Not Karen, not the HOA, no one. This is your day, and we will fight for it." Lily looked up, her eyes still watery, but with a spark of hope. Anna joined them and nodded. "We are a strong family." And she picked the wrong people to mess with. In that moment, something changed. The fear faded. The sadness faded. A new feeling appeared: determination. The family realized that Karen wasn't just an annoying neighbor. She was planning something big, something serious, something dangerous to their happiness. But Karen had made one mistake: she underestimated the family. And she didn't know how far they were willing to go to protect their daughter's big day. The battle had begun, and this was only the beginning. After Karen's dramatic visit, the house felt heavy, like a dark cloud had settled over it. But the family had decided they wouldn't let her win. They believed the situation would calm down soon. Maybe Karen had just been in a bad mood. Maybe she would forget about it. They were wrong. Karen did not calm down. She did not forget. She came back stronger. The very next morning, before sunrise, Karen was already walking around with her phone flashlight on, shining it at every decoration like she was inspecting a crime scene. She clicked photos non-stop. Click, click, click. Even the birds looked confused by how early she had started her investigation. At 7 a.m. sharp, the family heard another knock at the door. Not gentle, not friendly, but the same aggressive knock they now recognized too well. David opened the door and found Karen again, holding a stack of papers. "These are your new violations," she announced proudly, as if she had accomplished something great. Anna and Lily came to the door, worried. "What now, Karen?" Anna asked. Karen smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who enjoyed causing trouble. "You have violations for blocking pathways with chairs, having too many lights on the fence, unapproved structures, and your decorations do not match the community's color palette." The family stared at her. "Color palette?" David asked. "What does that even mean?" Karen responded like a teacher talking to a slow student. "The palette of this community allows only soft colors: white, beige, light gray. Your daughter's decorations are too bright." Lily's decorations were pastel pink and gold, soft, elegant, romantic. But Karen spoke about them like they were neon signs flashing in the dark. "We'll fix anything that's really a problem," David said calmly, trying to keep the peace. "But this is too much." Karen stepped closer. "Oh, this is nothing," she said. "There will be more if you don't listen." She turned around and walked away, as if she had just delivered a threat she knew they couldn't ignore. Over the next few days, the situation got worse, much worse. Karen started leaving violation slips on their door twice a day, sometimes 3 times. She made complaints the family didn't even understand. "Grass is too uneven, flower petals are falling on the sidewalk, wedding arch distracting neighbors, car reflections too bright during sunset." It was clear she was reaching for anything she could find, anything to break the family's spirit. Lily became anxious. She stopped sleeping well. She would wake up at night and peek through the window to see if Karen was outside again. And Karen usually was. She walked around holding her phone, recording videos like she was collecting evidence for a court case. She even zoomed in on decorations that weren't even finished yet. One afternoon, Lily saw Karen talking to 2 neighbors with dramatic arm movements. Her voice was loud and full of lies. She said, "We're destroying the community." Lily whispered to Anna, "She's telling people we're planning a huge illegal event." Anna's heart tightened. She loves attention. Don't let it scare you. But it was scary. Karen was turning the neighborhood against them slowly, cleverly, like a villain building a plan. Things reached a new level when Karen came with a clipboard and a small measuring tape. She walked directly to the wedding arch and began measuring it, like she was calculating the size of a dangerous structure. What are you doing?" David asked, rushing outside. Karen didn't even look up. "Checking if this unapproved structure meets the height requirement. It's for a wedding," David argued. "It's temporary." Karen snapped her tape measure closed loudly. "Temporary or not, it is unapproved, and unapproved things must be removed." Lily walked outside at that moment. She looked at her arch, the one she dreamed of since she was 12, and her chest tightened with sadness. "Please, Karen," she said softly. "This is my dream arch. I just want one perfect day." But Karen didn't soften. If anything, her eyes became colder. "Young lady, your dream is causing disturbance. We have rules for a reason. If you cared about this community, you would cancel the event." Lily's face fell. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. "I've lived here my whole life, and now you're telling me I don't care?" Karen shrugged. "Not enough to respect the rules." David stepped between them. "That's enough. Stop talking to my daughter like that." Karen smiled again, that fake, dangerous smile she used before causing trouble. "Fine, but expect more fines in your email today." And she walked away, her heels clicking on the pavement like a countdown to something worse. That evening, David opened his email and found 5 new violations. Not 1, not 2, 5. Anna held her head in her hands. "She's doing this on purpose. She wants to stress us so much that we give up." Lily sat on the couch quietly, staring at her phone. Her wedding Pinterest board was open, filled with beautiful ideas she once loved. Now they all felt heavy. But then she looked at her parents. She saw how tired they were, how stressed they were, how much they loved her. "No," she said suddenly. "I don't want to give up, and I don't want you to fight alone." David looked at her with pride. "We won't give up, but Karen is planning something bigger. I can feel it." Anna nodded. "She wants control, and she thinks she can scare us into canceling the wedding. But she doesn't know who she's dealing with." Lily wiped her tears. Her voice grew stronger. "She picked the wrong family, and they were right. Karen wasn't done. She was only warming up. Because her next move would be the one that changed everything." The week continued with stress, but the family kept fighting. They fixed decorations, cleaned the yard, and stayed positive for Lily's sake. They thought maybe, just maybe, Karen had done everything she could do, but they didn't know. Karen was planning something secret, something much more dangerous than violation slips. She wasn't just trying to annoy them anymore. She was trying to destroy the wedding legally, and she knew exactly how. One afternoon, while Anna was choosing flowers and Lily was checking table arrangements, David noticed something strange. The family had applied for a simple outdoor event permit weeks before, and the city had approved it. But suddenly, he received an email saying, "Your event permit is under review due to multiple complaints." David frowned. Complaints? Who complained? They had followed every rule. He immediately called the city office. The moment the clerk picked up, David heard a familiar voice in the background, a loud, dramatic voice. A voice he recognized instantly. Karen. She was already at the city office, causing a scene. "Excuse me, sir," Karen shouted loudly. "This wedding is a threat to the peace of our community. It will create noise, traffic, and chaos. You must not approve their permit." The clerk tried to calm her. "Ma'am, we already approved." Karen slammed her hand on the counter. "Then unapprove it," she demanded. "I am the head of the HOA. I know the rules. These people are reckless and irresponsible. They don't care about the neighbors. They don't care about safety." David listened from his end of the call, shocked. "She's there?" he asked the clerk. "Yes," the clerk sighed. "She has been here for almost an hour." David couldn't believe it. Karen wasn't just complaining at home. She was attacking them outside, too. The clerk lowered his voice. "Sir, she is telling us the event will be dangerous. She said your backyard is unstable, the decorations are unsafe, and that you are planning an event for hundreds of people." David was speechless. Hundreds. They invited only 40 guests. Karen was bold. She didn't care if she lied as long as her lies helped her win. While the clerk tried to speak, Karen's voice got louder again. "You don't understand." Karen yelled. "If you allow this wedding, you will be responsible when everything goes wrong." The clerk sighed again, sounding tired. "Ma'am, please calm down." "I am calm." Karen snapped. At that moment, David made a quick decision. He whispered to Anna and Lily, "Get the phone. Start recording." He put the call on speaker. Now the whole family heard Karen's dramatic performance. They heard her accusing them of breaking safety codes. They heard her claiming their lights were a fire hazard. They heard her saying the family frequently disobeys laws. And the biggest lie of all, they don't have proper permission. "They are pretending they do," Lily gasped. Pretending? We showed her the permit. Anna shook her head. She's not just unreasonable. She's dangerous. David kept recording everything. Every word, every lie, every shout, because he suddenly understood something important. Karen was not going to stop unless someone stopped her. At the city office, the clerk finally ended the argument. Ma'am, we will review the complaint. Please leave now. Karen huffed loudly. I will be back if you don't fix this, she warned. Then the call ended. David closed the recording app and exhaled slowly. That's it, he said. She crossed the line. Lily grabbed the phone, her hands shaking. Dad, she's trying to cancel my wedding for real. David put a hand on her shoulder. She won't win, he said firmly. But now we know what she's doing. Later that day, Karen walked around the neighborhood again, acting like everything was normal. She waved at neighbors with a fake smile, pretending she was simply being a responsible community leader. But something was different this time. To neighbors she tried to talk to walked away quickly, avoiding her. A third neighbor closed their garage door when they saw her coming. Whispers had already begun spreading. Karen was acting strange. Karen was going too far. Karen was becoming a problem. But Karen didn't notice. She believed she was still in control. Around sunset, the family was setting up more decorations when Karen appeared again, walking straight toward them, with her phone ready to record. Just so you know, she said loudly, your permit is under review now. You may want to stop wasting time on decorations. She said it like she was proud, like she had accomplished something big. Anna stepped forward. Karen, why are you doing this? This is a wedding, not a crime. Karen frowned. Because I follow rules, Anna. And people must understand that this community is not a playground. Lily walked toward her slowly, her eyes filled with hurt. Why do you hate us? She asked. Why are you trying to ruin the happiest day of my life? For a moment, just a tiny moment, Karen's face softened. But then she straightened her back, lifted her chin, and spoke with cold confidence. Happiness means nothing when rules are broken. And she walked away again, leaving behind a silence heavier than before. That night, as the family sat in the living room, reviewing the recording, something changed inside them. They weren't scared anymore. They weren't confused. They weren't unsure. They were angry, focused, ready. Because now they had proof. Now they knew Karen wasn't just annoying, she was abusing her power. And the family wasn't going to let that happen. David looked at the recording again and said, This is going to take her down. Anna nodded. It's time to fight back. Lily wiped her tears and whispered, she messed with the wrong family. And this time, they meant it. Because the next step Karen would take, the step she believed would finally destroy the wedding, would instead begin her own downfall. The next few days felt like walking on thin ice. The family was preparing for the wedding, but there was a new fear in their minds. What would Karen do next? She had already tried to destroy their permit. She had already filled their inbox with violations. She had already spread lies across the neighborhood. But the family didn't expect her next move. This time, Karen was not coming alone. It was a Saturday morning when the attack happened. The family woke up early to continue decorating. Lily was arranging flowers with soft music playing from her phone. Anna was setting up the tables under the trees. David was fixing the lights along the fence. For a brief moment, the day felt peaceful again. But then, the peace broke. 3 figures appeared near the gate, walking slowly, seriously, and with purpose. Karen was in front, her chin high, her steps sharp. Behind her were 2 HOA board members, a man named Mr. Collins and a woman named Teresa. They were holding clipboards. They were not smiling. Lily froze when she saw them. Anna whispered, "Oh no." She brought backup. Karen stopped in the driveway like a military commander inspecting enemy territory. "Good morning," she said, but her voice carried no warmth. Collins and Teresa nodded politely, but even from far away, the family could sense something strange in their eyes, something uncomfortable. Embarrassed, almost unwilling, David stepped forward calmly. "What's this about?" Karen answered before either board member could speak. "This," she said proudly, "is an official HOA inspection. I filed a complaint with the board. They are here to look at your violations." She lifted her clipboard dramatically. "And to make a final decision. Lily stepped closer to her parents, feeling her stomach twist with fear. Was Karen trying to get their wedding shut down on the spot? Karen led the board members around the property like a tour guide in a museum of crimes. She pointed at the flowers. These are not approved. She pointed at the lights. These are a fire hazard. She pointed at the chairs. These block emergency pathways. She pointed at the arch. This structure breaks height rules. She pointed at the music speaker. This is noise pollution. She pointed at the backyard entrance. This creates traffic issues. She even pointed at the family's dog lying in the sun. And that dog barks too much. The board members wrote things down, but their faces showed clear discomfort. Collins looked at the lights and whispered to Teresa, "These look fine to me." Teresa nodded. "She's exaggerating." Karen turned around sharply. "What was that?" "Nothing," Teresa said quickly. But Karen's eyes narrowed. She knew her board members were not fully agreeing with her. It irritated her. She walked faster, pointing rapidly at anything she could find. Violation here, violation there, and here, and there. Write everything down. Finally, after almost an hour, they reached the wedding arch again. Karen placed her hand on it and spoke loudly, as if delivering a dramatic speech. "This unapproved, oversized decoration must be taken down immediately." Lily felt something inside her crack. She stepped forward. "No," she said softly. "This arch stays." Karen's head snapped toward her. "Excuse me?" "It stays," Lily repeated, louder this time. "This is my wedding. My only wedding. I won't let you break it." Karen laughed a dry, sarcastic laugh. "Young lady, you don't make the rules, we do. And if the board agrees, you must remove everything." She looked at her board members like a queen expecting soldiers to obey. But instead of nodding, the board members looked unsure. Collins cleared his throat. "Actually, Karen, I don't think these things are violations." Karen blinked. "What?" Teresa stepped forward too. "Yes, some decorations are a bit large, but this is temporary. For a wedding. Families do this all the time." Karen's voice cracked slightly. "Are you saying I am wrong?" Mr. Collins sighed. "Sometimes. You are too strict." Karen's face turned red. A mix of anger, shock, and humiliation. She turned on them. "You're useless. Both of you. You never understand the seriousness of rules. You're weak." Teresa stepped back, offended. "Karen, we came to help, not to be insulted." Karen snapped. "Then do your job." The board members exchanged looks, awkward, uncomfortable, frustrated. Finally, Teresa turned to the family and said softly, "We're sorry about all this. We never agreed to harass you. She just told us there were major issues." Karen's eyes widened. "Stop talking. That's confidential HOA business." But Teresa continued, "You deserve peace for your daughter's wedding. And honestly, this is not a problem." Karen exaggerated everything. Lily's eyes filled with tears, this time not from sadness, but relief. David put an arm around her shoulder. Karen's mouth fell open. "You'd have betrayed me." She shouted at the board members. Collins calmly closed his clipboard. "No, Karen, we're just tired of your behavior." And then he looked at the family. "You have our support. We'll report this to the rest of the board." Karen stepped back like she had been slapped. "You can't do that," she whispered. "Yes, we can," Teresa replied firmly, and with that, both board members walked away, leaving Karen standing alone in the driveway. Her face was red. Trembling with fury, she glared at the family. "You think this is over?" she hissed. "You think you've won?" She took one step closer. "You have no idea what I can do." But instead of looking scared, David calmly pulled out his phone. "Actually," he said, "we do." He pressed play, and Karen's voice from the city office recording filled the air. "You must shut this wedding down. They don't follow rules. They are dangerous." Karen's eyes widened. She froze. "You recorded me?" She whispered. "Oh yes," Anna said. Every word or for the first time. Karen had no comeback. No threat. No rule. No power. She turned around and stormed away, walking faster than she ever had before. Lily watched her go. "She's losing control," Lily said softly. David nodded. "And when people like her lose control, they get desperate." The family didn't know it yet, But Karen's next move would be the most dangerous one of all. After the explosive confrontation with the HOA board, the family felt a brief moment of relief. For the first time, someone other than them had stood up to Karen. For the first time, Karen wasn't in control. For the first time, the family believed they were winning. But deep inside, everyone knew this peace wouldn't last. Karen wasn't the type to accept defeat. She wasn't the type to step back quietly. She wasn't the type to apologize or move on. People like Karen didn't give up. They planned. They retaliated. They struck back harder. And that's exactly what she was about to do. The next morning, the family prepared breakfast together. The sun was warm, the birds were chirping, and for a moment, life felt normal again. They sat around the table, trying to enjoy the small things: hot pancakes, fresh fruit, Lily's excited talk about the wedding cake. But then, ding, David's phone buzzed with a notification. Then another, and another, and another. 5 emails, all from the HOA, all from Karen. David opened the first one. His face hardened. More violations? Anna asked, though she already knew the answer. Yes, David said. 5 new ones. Lily looked frightened. But we didn't do anything. David took a slow breath. She didn't come here to check anything. She made these up. Karen wasn't giving up the fight. She was just changing her strategy. But today, the family would change their strategy too. Later that afternoon, while the family fixed a few decorations, Lily noticed something strange. Karen wasn't outside. She wasn't walking around with her phone. She wasn't spying from behind bushes. She wasn't knocking on doors. It was too quiet, too calm, too suspicious. Mom, where is she? Lily asked. Anna looked around slowly. I don't trust silence with her, she said. She was right not to trust it, because while the family decorated, Karen was inside her house, typing, printing, planning, and preparing new attacks. She was building a stack of printed complaints so thick it looked like a textbook. She was writing dramatic descriptions, calling the family disruptive, dangerous, and non-cooperative. She even took photos of old construction cracks on her own house and tried to make them look like the family caused them. She was going too far, but she didn't care. People like Karen cared about winning, not truth. That evening, David sat at the dining table looking through all the violations Karen sent in the last 2 weeks. There were dozens, some silly, some absurd, some completely false. Lily and Anna joined him. We need help, Lily said quietly. We can't keep doing this alone. David nodded. I think it's time to call a lawyer. Anna looked surprised. A lawyer? Is it that serious? David turned his laptop toward her. On the screen were all the violations, organized, listed, time-stamped. She's abusing her position, he said. She's breaking HOA laws. She's harassing us. She's trying to sabotage the wedding legally. Lily swallowed nervously. What should we do? David leaned back in his chair, his face calm but determined. We fight back properly. No more ignoring. No more hoping she'll stop. The next morning, the family met with a lawyer named Mr. Grant. He was calm, experienced, and already familiar with HOA bullies. As he politely called them, they showed him the recordings. They showed him the emails. They showed him the fake violations. They showed him the inconsistent complaints. Grant took notes quickly, his eyebrows raising higher and higher as the evidence piled up. After an hour of reviewing everything, he closed the file. This, he said slowly, is more than harassment. This is abuse of power. Anna asked, can we do something about it? Mr. Grant nodded firmly. Yes, we can file a formal complaint to the HOA board. Not to Karen, not to her friends. To the whole board. Lily leaned forward. Will it work? Mr. Grant smiled. With your evidence? Absolutely. For the first time, hope returned. Back home, the family began putting together the strongest complaint the HOA had ever seen. David organized all the violation emails into folders. Anna printed every single picture Karen sent. Lily edited the audio recordings so they could hear every word clearly, especially Karen's angry yelling at the city office. They created a timeline. When Karen first complained, when she lied, when she threatened, when she abused her title, when she tried to cancel the permit, when she broke HOA rules herself. They worked for hours. As a team, like a small army preparing their defense. By evening, the file was thick, filled with facts, proof, and the truth. Finally, David placed the last page on top. "That's it," he said. "We're ready." Lily smiled weakly. "She won't like this." Anna crossed her arms. "Good." The next morning, the family walked into the whole office together, confident, prepared. Karen was inside, sitting at her desk with her usual smug expression. But the moment she saw the file in David's hand, her smile faded. "What's that?" she asked, her voice sharp. David placed the complaint folder on the table and slid it toward her. "It's everything you've done," he said calmly, "and the board will see it." Karen opened her mouth, but no words came out. For the first time, she looked nervous. Lily stepped forward too. "This is my wedding, and you tried to ruin it. But we are done letting you scare us." Karen tried to stand tall again. "This won't work. I am the HOA." "No," David said. "You were the HOA." Karen froze. "It's already submitted," he added. Karen's face turned pale, not from anger this time, but from fear. Real fear. "And now," Anna said softly, "you will face the consequences." Karen clenched her jaw. "You haven't won yet," she whispered. David replied calmly, "We didn't need to win. We just needed the truth. And the truth is finally out." As the family walked out of the office, the air felt lighter. The pressure felt smaller. The fear felt gone. But little did they know, Karen wasn't done yet, and her next move would be the most shocking one of all. The whole office door had barely closed behind the family when Karen's mask finally cracked. For weeks, she had fought, lied, threatened, and bullied to keep control. For weeks, she believed she could scare the family into backing down. For weeks, she acted like the HOA was her kingdom and everyone else was a guest. But today, for the first time, she felt powerless. She felt cornered. She felt exposed. She felt attacked. And people like Karen, people who need control, people who need attention, people who need power, they become the most dangerous when they feel like they're losing. The moment the family walked away, Karen grabbed the complaint file with shaking hands. She flipped through the pages, emails, photos, videos, timelines. Every lie she had told was in there. Every trick, every threat, every abuse of power. She slammed the folder shut. "They think they've won," she muttered to herself. "They think they can embarrass me." Her breath became quick. Her face turned red. Her voice grew angry. No, I'm not done. I will not let them win." And with that, she stormed out of the whole office, her heels clicking like warning shots. Meanwhile, the family had returned home feeling lighter than they had in weeks. Mrs. Grant, the lawyer, had called them earlier saying the board would review their complaint within 2 days. 2 days. Just 48 more hours until Karen would finally be dealt with. The family gathered in the living room with tea and snacks, trying to relax. Lily was smiling again for the first time in days, talking about table decorations and music playlists. But Anna watched her daughter carefully. "You look tired," she said softly. Lily nodded. "It's been a lot. I didn't think planning a wedding would feel like fighting a war." David put an arm around her. "This will all be over soon." Lily smiled. "I just want a peaceful wedding. That's all." Little did they know, peace was the last thing they were about to get. That night, around 9 p.m., Anna stepped outside to water the plants. The sky was quiet, the air cool, and the street peaceful, until she heard it. A car door closing. Soft but quick steps. Someone walking along the side of their house. Anna froze. It was late. No one in the neighborhood walked around this time. She took a slow step forward and peeked around the corner, and her heart stopped. Karen was standing near their backyard fence, holding her phone, taking photos, again, but this time, she was doing it secretly, hiding in the shadows, moving fast. Anna whispered, "Karen?" Karen jumped, then spun around with a fake smile. "Oh, Anna, didn't see you there." Her voice was sharp, but sweet like broken glass wrapped in ribbon. "What are you doing near our backyard?" Anna asked calmly. "Routine inspection," Karen said too quickly. "Very normal. HOA protocol. At 9 at night?" Anna asked. Karen's smile twitched. She was caught, but she wasn't stopping. "Well," Karen said, stepping back, "I have a duty. Even at night." Anna stared at her. This wasn't normal HOA behavior. This wasn't even normal Karen behavior. This was desperation. Karen took 2 more photos, then rushed away without another word. Anna watched her disappear down the street and whispered, "She's planning something." Inside the house, they reviewed their security cameras, and what they saw made their blood run cold. Karen had been circling their home for almost 20 minutes, looking around, touching the fence, taking photos of random objects, even measuring things with a small tape. Lily covered her mouth. Why is she doing this? David narrowed his eyes. She's looking for a new accusation. Something bigger. Something she can use against us. Anna whispered. She's panicking. And she's getting reckless. The next morning, they got a new email. A long one. From Karen, with 20 attached photos. David opened it, and everyone leaned in. Karen claimed the family had constructed an illegal outdoor stage, even though the structure was just a simple wooden platform for the wedding ceremony. She claimed their fence was dangerously unstable, even though it had already been inspected and approved. She even claimed the family was endangering the neighborhood environment by having too many guests. Lily burst out, "Is she crazy? None of this is true." David shook his head. "She's trying to create a big violation, something big enough to shut down the wedding, and the board meeting is tomorrow," Anna said, her voice low. "She wants to push one last attack before she loses her power." Later that afternoon, the family met with their lawyer again. Mr. Grant studied the new violations, his expression turning serious. "This is alarming," he said. "This is beyond HOA pressure. This is harassment and targeted behavior. What do we do now?" Lily asked. Grant sighed. "You stay calm. You don't argue with her. You don't respond to these violations. We will present everything tomorrow. But what if she tries something before the meeting?" Anna asked. Grant looked at her with calm eyes. "She can try. But the board already knows she's being investigated. Anything she does now only makes her look worse." He was right. But the family could not relax. Because when someone like Karen is desperate, they stop caring about rules. They stop caring about consequences. They stop caring about being caught. They care only about winning. And Karen was preparing her most dangerous move. Yet around midnight, while the family slept, a car slowly rolled down the street. Headlights off, engine quiet, moving like a shadow. The car stopped in front of the family's house. The driver leaned forward. It was Karen. She stepped out quietly, her eyes cold, her jaw tight. In her hand, she held something no one ever expected, a pack of large metal cutters. She walked toward the side of the house, toward the wedding decorations, toward the lights, toward the wooden platform, toward everything. The family worked for and as she raised the cutters toward the decorations, a security light clicked on. Karen froze. Her eyes widened, and the camera above her began recording. This was it. The moment Karen crossed a line she could never return from. The security light shined bright on Karen like a spotlight on a criminal. Her shadow stretched across the yard, long and sharp. As she stood frozen with the metal cutters in her hand, she looked like someone who had been caught in the middle of a crime scene. Her eyes flicked toward the camera. Her breath went shallow. Her hands trembled. For a moment, she stood completely still. For a moment, she seemed to realize what she had just done. For a moment, she almost dropped the cutters and ran. But instead, Karen made the worst mistake of her life. She looked straight into the camera and began cutting the wedding lights anyway. Cut, cut, cut. The wires snapped one after another. The camera caught everything. Her face, her actions, her intentions, her anger. Every second was recorded. Every detail was saved. And when she finally finished cutting the last wire, she stormed back to her car and drove off into the night as if nothing happened. But the damage was done. This time, Karen hadn't just broken a rule. She had broken herself. The next morning, the family woke up to a nightmare. The wedding lights were destroyed. The wooden platform had scratches everywhere. Several decorations were ruined. Footprints were all over the yard. At first, they didn't know who did it, until David checked the cameras. What he saw made him drop his coffee. Anna rushed over. "What happened?" David pointed at the screen, speechless. Anna gasped. Lily covered her mouth. Even the lawyer who David immediately called was silent for a few seconds. The footage was clear. So clear, so obvious. Karen, caught in the act, destroying private property. At midnight, with tools. On camera. Grant finally spoke. This is not an HOA issue anymore. This is vandalism. This is criminal. Lily's eyes filled with tears, not just sadness, but anger. She wanted to destroy my wedding. She really tried to ruin everything. Anna hugged her. She failed. We will fix everything. David stood tall, for the first time looking ready to fight back completely. We show this at the HOA meeting. Today, at 3 p.m., the HOA board gathered in the community hall. It was the biggest meeting the neighborhood had seen all year. Word had spread fast something big was happening. Neighbors whispered in the back. Some looked nervous. Some looked curious. Some looked ready for drama. Karen walked in last, wearing a bright blazer and a fake confident smile. Pretending nothing was wrong, she sat at the front like she always did, back straight, chin raised, attitude ready. But this time, people weren't smiling at her. They were staring, whispering, judging, waiting. Because somehow, even without seeing any proof yet, the neighborhood sensed something was coming. Karen sensed it too, but she hid it behind her stiff posture. The board president opened the meeting. Today we will review a formal complaint filed by David and Anna regarding HOA misconduct. Karen laughed quietly. Well, this should be entertaining. But her smile faded the moment Mr. Grant, the lawyer, walked up with a laptop. He connected it to the projector, and the screen turned black. Then the video started. Security footage. Timestamp, 12:03 a.m. last night. There she was. Karen, in full color, holding cutters, looking around, cutting wires, destroying lights. The board gasped. The room erupted. Whispers turned into shocked voices. Karen shot out of her chair. This is fake. This is edited. They are framing me. But the video kept playing, showing her face clearly, showing her hands, showing her car. Was no escape. David stood up calmly. This is not a misunderstanding. This is vandalism. This is harassment. This is abuse of power. Karen's face turned pale. The board members exchanged looks, angry, disappointed, embarrassed. One of them spoke firmly. Karen, this is unacceptable. Another added, this is a violation of HOA regulations and the law. The third one said, you cannot remain on the HOA board after this. Karen stepped back as if someone had pushed her. What? No, you can't do that. I built this HOA. I keep this neighborhood in order. But the board president's voice was cold and final. Karen, you are officially removed from the HOA board effective immediately. Karen shook her head wildly. No, I am the HOA. You can't fire me. The board president sighed. You did this to yourself. Karen was shaking now, angry, scared, lost. This is all because of them. She screamed, pointing at the family. They ruined everything. They started this. Lily stepped forward, her voice calm and steady. No, Karen, you tried to ruin my wedding and our lives. We only defended ourselves. Karen opened her mouth, but no words came out. Not excuses, not lies, not threats. Nothing. For the first time, Karen had no power, no authority, no audience who believed her. She walked out of the meeting hall with her head down, and for the first time in this entire fight she looked small. 2 days later, the police contacted the family. The charges for vandalism had been filed. Karen would face real consequences in court. She tried to apologize eventually, but only because she wanted to avoid charges, not because she felt sorry. The family did not respond, because they didn't need to fight anymore. The battle was over. Karen was finished. And finally, with just 3 days left before the wedding, the neighborhood came together like never before. Neighbors helped repair the lights. Someone donated new decorations. Another helped repaint the platform. People brought food, chairs, and flowers. Some even volunteered to help set up until midnight. It was a beautiful moment of unity. Everyone wanted Lily's wedding to be perfect. Everyone wanted to show support after what the family had gone through. Lily cried happy tears. I can't believe this. Everyone is helping us. Anna hugged her. This is what community looks like. David smiled. And this is what happens when you don't let a bully win. The wedding day arrived. The sun was bright. The air was warm. The decorations looked beautiful, better than before. Lily walked down the aisle with the biggest smile of her life. And somewhere far away, Karen watched from inside her dark, quiet house, alone, defeated, no longer feared, no longer respected, forgotten by everyone. Because in the end, she messed with the wrong family, and the wrong family finally stood up for what was right.